yeah, I'm sure I would relate to it, to being Daisy. Just, yeah, that's awful.
But yes, substitution's a big part of acting.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the part that popped into my head when I was thinking about it in terms of Lucy was walling up a child. What part of you,
When did that happen?
in the debt, you're walling up little Ming?
It was a big deal, wasn't it? That was an amazing episode. I don't think people know
remember
what
that.
out there television
Yeah.
that we produced. But, well, I remember as a child seeing, there was some horror movie about people being walled up in this house. And me just being obsessed with, I'd watch horror movies all the time.
You did?
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one that did. You used to... Really?
No.
Oh, that's
Born
so
and raised
funny.
on them. I'm so
I had no
relieved that we
idea.
were Catholics because, you know, all the vampires, that I would know what to do.
I had no idea.
Yeah, watch so, and also having older brothers who would do extremely mean things to us all the time. I think I somehow learned, was very sensitive to the victor mentality.
Wow.
And then probably turning around and being mean to my little brother. Or, you know, it's a power thing. You've lost being very low status and sometimes being high status. So I think, yes, there was some quite sort of dog-eat-dog moments in my childhood.
Now that I think about it, that look on Xena's face when she was walling up the child, when you said, like the older brother getting one over on the kid sister, right? You're right. That's what it looked like, a sense of victory. It wasn't a sense of cruelty. It was a sense of victory.
Wow.
And I wouldn't have thought of that at the time. That what it was reminding me of.
It's horrible, but I think any of us who are sensitive or did have bad experiences as children have a lot to play with emotionally. You've got a lot hidden down there.
So it makes acting so interesting, though, isn't it? That you can have those opportunities, you know? I mean, it's a dark place to wall up.
Right. A lot of people don't want to go there, though.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas
Yeah.
I think actors cannot help but explore that stuff.
See, and I still think it's scary. You know what I mean? I still think, wow, you know, it's like, but it is fun, but it's scary, I think.
The parts of
Yeah,
yourself that
that's
still
right.
are there parts of
Yeah.
yourself that still scare you.
Yeah, you push yourself to go
Sure.
some pretty dark places. This cat is just like my cat.
Well, she's from New Zealand, too.
You look like Tigger. You were like my
on
first
up,
cat. Only
Kiora.
sort of fatter.
Her name is Kiora.
Yeah,
Oh, not the cat you have now.
This cat, no, my first
Yeah.
cat, but he was thinner. Your cat's fat, man.
Is she great?
She's not pregnant, is she?
No.
She's just took care of that. Come on, hey, puss.
Kia ora.
Just
Kia ora, kia ora,
We,
kia ora. Kia ora.
Does she jump up?
She has slightly sort of sad eyes.
She's like a sort heavy fold of jump.
Look at the size of that.
Hello. Look a bit like my cat Tigger.
Isn't it really?
But the exact colouring.
Isn't that funny? You know, she adopted me, and she's from Rotorua. And my mom went over there on a little tour, and she jumped in my mom's car, and then she brought her back to Auckland, you know?
We just adopted a cat too,
yeah?
from Louisiana.
Oh, I've
Stray.
What's that? What do you mean? That's so funny.
Yeah, we just fell in love with this little stray cat, only a year old, little male.
That is
Got him
hilarious.
neutered and
Isn't that
Brought 'em
funny?
home.
You brought one back from Louisiana, I brought one back from New Zealand.
it's so cool.
Very
He is
patient,
cool,
that
huh?
cat. Back to the convention, there were so many interesting things going on up there. When asked at the convention about any spats the two of you had during filming, Lucy joked, well, the sex was sporadic. After the audience died down, you asked the audience if they knew about LBD.
Lesbian bed death.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, my gay girlfriends say that, well, you know how that quite often, this was their words, not mine, that the sexual impulse will kind of die down for women in a marriage. And then sometimes when you get two women in a marriage, they just both cease wanting to have sex at all. So that's what LBD is. See,
Did that
if
come
you-
up at the convention? No.
I made a joke about it, and half the audience went, like they got it. And the rest, yeah, otherwise you just wouldn't know what that means, but there you go. I'd never heard of it either.
I was reading an article in the newspaper this morning about the difference in how men and women perceive things. And wondering if you guys have noticed that, for instance, life, work, marriage. Do you notice any difference in the way you guys are, married? Do you have any difference in the way, children, life together? Do you notice differences in the way you look at things and men look at things?
We were just talking about that, weren't we, actually?
Yeah, we were. Wow, where do you start?
Yes, I can certainly say that with Rob and I, if somebody is, for example, say working in our home, if this person doesn't fit in with your family culture, they are out the effing door. Doesn't matter how great their skills are, if they are making this, my harmonious retreat, a battleground, or in any way, interfering with my wow, man, they're gone. Whereas Rob so values somebody's skills that he's ready to put up with any amount of painful relationship in order to use this, use his skills and pay them for those skills.
Yeah.
But to me, home, because he goes to work every day, I suppose, that a man regards a house a little differently. I don't know.
Well, that's a lot like, bringing that up, that's a lot like an office situation where bosses, which, for better or worse, is still majority are men, that
they'll keep the employees.
Who are well past the use-by date.
Right.
But they will keep them on for a specific skill.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's different in your
never
home.
mind their emotional, the baggage they carry with them.
Right. Whereas we're connected to everything emotionally, and and
you perceive.
if there's tension in the house, you've got to get rid of it. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, or office or whatever. Yeah, I don't keep people around who are painful to me.
It's funny because I'm thinking jokes. Like it's funny how Steve will interact with Miles on a completely different level than I will.
Yeah,
they'll
right,
be
that's
joking
true.
around about the fart jokes. You know what I mean? They'll wrestle and all this stuff. And I'm like. And I, give him the Band-Aids, and I kiss his feet, and I tickle him. It's, it's just different interactions.
I always think a woman is there a mother is there to nurture and smother, and a father is there to, encourage that boy to go off to his death.
It's so
Yes,
true.
son, you can play with fish hooks, you can...
Yeah, right.
Let me show you my big knife.
Climb up that ladder. Climb up the ladder and jump, right? Go on.
And I'm just going to totally smother you and turn you into...
Yeah, so it's different.
We're exaggerating, but there's an element of truth in it.
That's what the article was talking about. Something else that was at the end of the convention was this girl was talking about the warrior spirit. And she was a teacher, and I've been talking to teachers recently. And there's a lot. You did a layout sheet that we talked about last time about the body and learning to accept it the way it is.
I remember that.
And you've got a daughter who's, in her teen years. How do you, and then again, you're in the acting business where there are all kinds of rules, unspoken rules and regulations about, just every part of you. How do you make yourself happy? And how would you make your daughter happy?
Right.
And learn to live with themselves, be a girl in this world, and still be whole. Because it's kind of tough still.
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, I think we're in a really, a difficult business where if you let this collective idea of what's beautiful affect you, then, you could just keep changing yourself to kind of please everybody else. But that's difficult for sure. But
I think one good thing that one thing I managed to do, which I'm really pleased about now, is never referring to myself in a negative way, like negative body image, no matter what I thought deep down about myself, never expressing that or, in fact, saying the opposite.
Really? You mean to whom, though?
Around
To-
my daughter.
Oh, right.
But past a certain age, they're with their friends. It's not about you anymore.
Yeah.
So all you can do is just manage your own neuroses.
And just keep strengthening their belief in themselves, I guess, right?
Yeah,
As well, you know what I mean?
and that you never don't try to help them by telling them you're fat, making negative
Right.
assessments or any kind,
Yeah, judgments.
assessments of their physique or whatever. Yeah, talk about what's great about them.
Yeah.
But yeah, past a certain age, you don't matter anymore.
Right.
In your teens, you're just something to laugh at. So in their teens.